Hello everyone. So today we'll have a discussion about pragmatics as our subject is linguistics here. And my partner Yuliana Maula and Sherly Arwinda will try to explain about the pragmatics here. The first thing that we have to know about pragmatics is speech act. There are two broad things here. There are performatives and then the three types of speech acts. So, what is the speech act is actually uh, when we have a communication, the meanings of the words are not the focus or the utterance. Means that what is we say or what someone says is not really the real meaning, and may the utterances have some other assumptions or have some others perspective. So in speech acts we can see some terms that explain about this more. Next is about performatives. In performatives utterance, a person is not just saying something but actually doing something. If someone doing something based on what they say or vice versa, so there are regulative rules and constitutive rules here. As we know in the slides that regulative rules and constitutive rules is define and create the form and behavior, and the regulative is express the linguistically means of imperatives of the speakers. In performatives, we have to know about the felicity conditions of the speakers, and it has a conventional procedure, and it must be exist for doing something or the speaker have done something. And the second one is the participant must execute the procedure and carry it through the completion. And the last one is the speakers, if need, thoughts, feelings, and intention must be present in the utterance. So all the things that the speakers say have the meanings and have the actions. And the next is there are three types of speech act here. When someone says something or the utterance from the speaker, we call it locutions. So the literal meaning from the speaker, the actual act of uttering. And when someone says something, of course, they have an intention or they have a meaning. So it is we called it illocutionary act. It it is the force of intention behind the words. I mean that the communicative intention. And the last one is perlocutions. So it is the pragmatic effect actually, and the effect is on the hearer. When someone says something and the hearer understand the meaning, so they have a success communication based on the three types of these speech acts. The next one is implicator. To make it understand, we will use the concept of cooperation, that is cooperative principle in conversation, to figure out the relationships between the said and the unsaid. I mean that if someone says something, of course there are the hidden meaning of the utterance. So we can see it by identifying the maxims like maxim of quantity, quality, relation, or manner. The first is about maxim of quantity. If someone says something here, means that The speaker needs our contribution to be required. I mean that the speakers A do not expect something more than he needs. For example, the A asking what would you like, so the B only answer what he likes, not more and not less, because the maximum of quantity needs an enough information from the participants. The next one, in the maximum of quality, the participant do not need to say something false because we have to be true. And for example, I need the sugar means that I need a sugar, not salt, any coffee or other things, but sugar. And if the speaker say he needs a spoon, means that he don't need to get a fork or other things but spoon, something like that. So it's about the truth and the genuine of the participant. In maximum relation, the participants have to give an appropriate response from the speaker. So we cannot say something that have no relation with the situations. For example, if the speaker are still baking or mixing the ingredients for a cake, so the other partner or the other participant do not expect to be handed a good book or even often a cloth in their situation. Okay, that's why we have to be relevant here. For maximum manner, I am a speaker. Expect that my partner will make a clear contribution he is making. So we'll both have to be clear, brief, and orderly because it can use to avoid the obscurity of expressions. So in maximum manner, we have to be perspicuous.
Well, now I'm continuing to explain politeness. Politeness is a system of interpersonal relations designed to facilitate interaction. It is for minimizing the potential for conflict and confrontation inherent in all human interactions. So, the concept of politeness within sociolinguistics owes a great deal to face, in which in social interaction we present a face to others and to others' faces, so that we are obliged to protect both. Then, talking about face, we have to know what face is. So, face itself is the public self-image that every member wants to claim for himself. It is based on Brown and Levinson. Here, there are two kinds of face. The first one is positive face, and the second one is negative face. Positive face is the one of every member that his wants be desirable to at least some others. So simply we can say that positive face is the desire to gain the approval of others, while negative face is the one of every competent adult member that his actions be unimpeded by others. So simply we can say that negative face is the desire to be unimpeded by others' action. Then speech acts which threaten the positive or negative face of the addressee is called face threatening acts. In interaction, we don't only need to be aware of both kinds of face, I mean positive and negative face, but also we need to use different politeness strategies. So here there are some politeness strategies. The first one is positive politeness. It is created through the use of compliments which show appreciation. For example, we can say that was a lovely party, or we can say also, how beautiful your car, like so. Then the second one is negative politeness. It is displayed through apologizing for any possible imposition. For example, we can say, I hesitate to trouble you, but I want to borrow your car, like so. Before we go to the third strategy of politeness, here is the politeness worldwide. I took two forms in deciding the politeness. Those are in Japan and in Africa. According to Martin, in Japan, choosing the polite address term for another considers outgroupness, social position, age difference, and gender difference. Then, according to Kasanga and Luangalumu, in Africa, body language and not just verbal utterances are part of enactment of difference of politeness. So Africans believe that body language is also important to decide or to show the politeness. The third strategy of politeness is indirectness or off record. It might be possible that off-record requests are more polite because they allow the addressee the option of interpreting the utterance as merely a request for information and not a request for action. Indirect requests include such linguistic forms as want statements. For example, the speaker says, I cannot come out. It means that actually the speaker wants to say, I want you to move your car, but the speaker doesn't say it because the speaker wants the addressee to interpret the sentence or the speaker's statement. So the after the addressee knows or understands what the speakers want or what the speaker means of her or his statement, the it is expected that the addressee will move his or her car. The next strategy of politeness is on record. It is direct strategy. It can be requesting. So it means that the speaker directly requests or asks the addressee to do something. For example, the speaker says, move your car. It is without any request statement. It sounds impolite, but it is usually done by the speaker to her or his close people. Then the last strategy of politeness is no FTA or no face threatening act. It means that doing something to get helping. So the speaker doesn't say anything. He or she just doing something. In Indonesia we can say that it is kode. Kita ngode seseorang, like so. For example, the speaker tries to move the car by her or himself, then she or he expects that there is someone who will who will help her, who will help the speaker.
Okay, now we will talk about pronouns. There are two pronouns here. Before says to and wo, power and solidarity, and the other one is pronouns and positioning. In to and wo, there are the T form that is described as the familiar form, and the V as the polite one. So what is the T and V itself? Let's check it out. The student voices talk about the power and solidarity, so let's see the T or the V usage. To symbolize the power relationship, of course, the asymmetrical T or V usage is extended to such situations that people to animals or master to the servants, to parents and to children and others. You can see the example from the slides. And the symmetrical V or became a polite usage. This polite usage spread down in society but all the way down in the certain classes, but never it always. It became expected between the husband and wife, parents and children, and lovers. It is a symmetrical V, and the last one is symmetrical T. The available to show the intimacy between the T. But the two people agree that they had a strong common interest or a feeling or solidarity. So they do not giving a T but receiving a V. In pronouns and positioning, there are two terms, common ground and social distance. Okay, let us see in the example from the pronoun system in colloquial Indonesian. Let us see there are kamu and lu or lo, and then the kamu and lu both are appropriate for use with intimates and other young people, not with anda. Anda is a formal one, and then kamu is derived from the standard Indonesian, and alu is variants from colloquial. So it also represents the formal and informal relationship between the participant, and it shows that another area of address where there is much ambiguity in terms social meaning. Like after this we will talk about naming and titles.
Naming and titles. How do you name another? By title, by first name, by last name, by a nickname, by some combination of these? Actually, all kinds of combinations are possible in English, and actually, it is possible in Indonesia also. For example, title plus last name or first name, or title plus a nickname, it is possible to happen. Then on the last slide, it explains how addressing describe the closeness. The first one is that address by title alone is the least intimate form of address in that title usually designate ranks or occupations. For example, colonel or doctor. It is also done by Indonesians when we go to the doctor. Then, even though we know the doctor's name, we prefer to call her or call him doctor or only dog, like so. Then the second one is that using another's first name is a sign of familiarity, or at least of a desire for such familiarity. For example, in Indonesian setting, if there is someone who has name Ahmad Dahlan, maybe we can call him by the first name Ahmad, like so. Then the third one is that using a nickname shows an even greater intimacy. Then the last one is that using first name alone in addressing is that person is trying to assert some power over you. So that's all from me. Thank you.